Hey, welcome back. So today we are going to add sound and music to our game. I know that in the last video I talked about possibly starting to do opening doors and triggers, but I think we're going to go ahead and add some sound. Start making our game feel a little bit more like a game. So we need to add some dying sounds for our spider and for our character, and then also some main music that we can hear as we're playing the game to kind of intensify it a little bit. That's gonna, I'll show that here in just a second, but again, if you're just now joining in and haven't caught up to now, you can go ahead and jump back into my YouTube channel, Paul Fritz Animation, and do all the videos up to this point and see what we're doing. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at that example. Okay, so let me go ahead and hit the play button. So you can hear there's some overlay music. And when we kill the enemies, got that crushing sound that they make. Let's go ahead and find one to have them kill us. Somewhere. Oh, there we go. Alright, so maybe a little cheesy, but there you go. You kind of get the idea of what we're going to be doing for this this particular time around. So all the sounds that you just heard were free. Downloaded them here off of freesound.org, and the overlaying music that you just heard was from this person, Joshua Empire, and you can see here's the location where I downloaded it for the music. And then for the other sounds, I'll talk about those in the caption if you want to use the same sounds, or take a look at it where I got them. But they're all from here, and I'll give attribution to the other sounds that I used as well. I did put them together here inside of Audacity. I cut them down a little bit. This was the crushing sound right here for my character, or the sound my character made as my character died. And then the music. That's also another music that was here on freesound.org. And then the sound that I use for, which is not on here right now, is this sound right here, this smashing sound by Yuri Santana. All right, so that's those are the groups of sounds that we're using. You can see there's some other ones I played around with on here as well. This was going to be part of our character dying, but it just made the sound a little bit too long. Right now I'm pushing it at right around almost 6 seconds. I wanted it to be a little bit under 6 seconds. So this was the female vocal masses. I cut it down as well. All of these have been edited here on Audacity to fit into the game, with the exception of the overlying music, which is this arcade music loop. Alright, so I'm not going to get into setting all the music up or the sound up again in Audacity. One of my previous videos, I kind of went over that. I had to use Audacity a little bit and how to edit and cut down sounds. So you can revisit that video, and there are also plenty of other tutorials out there as well. I just kind of want to get this one, this video is not too long, I hope, so that we can get through it. So I'll let you play around with the sounds, and it takes a while to find the sounds that you like for your game anyway. So we're going to go ahead and just minimize all of this, and we're going to open up. We're going to start with our actual game scene here, and let me just start getting the stuff ready here. Okay. All right, so the first thing we want to do is probably add the death sound to our spider, to whatever your enemy is, in my case the spider. And So what we're going to do is we're going to go into our blueprints here. We're going to find our pawns, our enemies actually, spider, and our enemy spider animation should be in here as well. So I'm going to go ahead and go to spider animation. And I want to pull up the spider die animation that I used for the death in my spider, which I can't remember which one it was. I'm going to open up my blueprint and we'll take a look back here in the anim graph. So mine was spider die 1. I can get to it from here as well, so I can double click on it and bring it up. And then what we want to do is we want to put a notify right in here, but there's going to be a specific type of notify, so I'm going to hit pause. I'm going to right click next to where it says the notifies right here in this first kind of line. When I hover over it, you can see it grays. I'm going to right click. I'm going to add a notify, and this is going to be a play sound notification. I'm going to kind of push it over towards the beginning. When I do that, you see that we have this sound right up here. I kind of got a little bit ahead of myself. We've got this started, but we don't have any sounds actually added into our game yet. So I'm going to click back in, go to my content, and I have this folder here that for sounds where we started for our gunshots and for all the sounds that we made for that. So this is the same one I'm going to use, and I'm going to import in some sounds that I downloaded from there, from the Free Sounds website. And in this case, this is my smashing sound. I'm going to pull this one in here. And then I also know that I'm going to use the character main death one that I created using Audacity. So I'll pull that one in. And that was an OGG file that we created. Okay, oh, there it is. It finally popped in. So this is the character death sound. This is the smashing sound for the spider. I'll probably rename that one. Maybe I'll leave it what it is. And then the other sound that I want is the music sound that I'm going to use. I'm going to use that same one. This is another one that is in here. This Kagateni was a pretty good one as well. But I'm just going to stick with, no, not that one. Stick with this one right here. And thank you very much. Okay. Oh, there we go. That's why. Use it as a template for sound being imported. So I'm going to say no. Okay. All right. Now we've got our sounds that we're going to use. I've got my smashing sound. I got the wave game main character. And okay, so I don't have all the sounds. Let's try that again. Interesting. All right, let's try this one more time. And this time we'll say yes. There we go. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and rename this one because it's got a very long name. I'm just going to name this one my main, main music. And the smashing sound, I'm going to go ahead and rename that. So if I hit F2, I'm just going to leave it as smashing. Smashing spider. Okay. Alright, so now I've got my main music, the sound for my spider, and the sound for my character. Alright, so now I'm going to jump back to my spider. And if I go up here after I have my play sound, under details on the right hand side it says anim notify, and here it says sound. I'm going to hit the down arrow right there, and I want that smashing sound for my spider. Okay, and we can test it out now by hitting play. Alright, so I think you get the idea there. Alright, so the same process is going to be done for our character. So I'm going to go ahead and save that. And after you create your sound, or if you just find a sound that you like and you don't want to, use Audacity, you have to set it together, that's fine as well. But we're going to use our same thing for our character. So I'm going to go back into my content, into my blueprints, find my pawn, Lieutenant Bellica for mine, into the animation, and pull up the animation blueprint for the character as well. Go to my event graph. Nope, sorry. Go to my... Okay, where are you? Animation graph. That's what I want. There we go. Into my animation graph. And inside of the state machine is where we set up our death for our character. So inside the state machine, right here is death. Double click on it, and I use death, play death B. I'm going to double click on that and open it up. And I'm going to pause that. And it's the same process. We're going to right click here. We're going to add notify, and we're going to do a play sound notify. All right. And then I'm going to click on the play sound notify right here. And you can see that this pops up. And that one was my character death. I might have to go find what it was. I forgot already. How about that? There it is. Wave game main character death. So I'm going to select that and put that in there. And put that all the way back up to 0 again. Very end here, close enough. If I hit play, all right. Now, since this is the final sequence, the game essentially is over once this happens. This is a little bit longer. It's not a quick death. So having that music play at the end, and as you heard as it was trying to loop, it couldn't play it, so it was looping on itself over and over again. But since this is a final for the game, that's going to kind of end that one up. So I'm going to go ahead and save that. And now if we go into our game, we can see that those should already be part of the game. So let's see here. Find some spiders to kill. And there's the sound for a dead spider. And then there's the sound for my character dying. All right. Okay, so now let's go ahead and get our main music playing, and then we're going to go in and we may have to modify these sounds just a little bit to adjust how loud they are in your game so that they kind of fit in a little bit better. So the first thing we want to do is we're going to go back to our content folder. Okay, and I am going to go to sounds, and I am going to open up that main music folder, that song I just created. So I'm double click on it, and when we import it, if we play it, it's just going to play one time and then it'll stop, and that's not really kind of our theme music. But if we look here, once we open it up, right under the sound, we can tell it that we want it to loop. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and click on the loop. I'm going to save that. We can close this now. It's pretty much the only thing that we need in here. So we're going to close that. I'm going to leave the 2 death animations up, but I'm going to close out the blueprints here. We don't need all this open. And all right, so now we've got that open up. What we do need is we need our character blueprint. So our main player character blueprint. So I'm going to go into our pawns and find my main character blueprint. And we're going to go to the event graph. And here in the event graph is where we're going to get all of this set up. All right. So the first thing we want to do is right here at the very beginning, under event begin play, we already have something going into that, and that's our HUD. We set that up last time. But what we want to do is we want to use this event begin play as well for our spawning of our sound. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull out from here, okay, and I'm just going to type in spawn sound at location. Okay, spawn sound at location. And the sound that we want, I'm going to hit the down arrow right here. The sound is that main, it helps to spell it correctly, that main music. Okay, and that's the sound that we want to have in there. It's just I'll check to make sure I got the right one. So 2 of them pop up. Yep, that's the one we want. Okay. Now, the thing we want to do is we also want to be able to stop this so that when our character dies, the music went away. So this right here would just go ahead and start the music right at the beginning, and it would just keep playing and playing and playing and playing. So what we need to do is, and the reason why we're using spawn sound at location is because I wanted to be able to have this output and this return value. We could use another one that's in here that's called play sound, play sound 2D, and you see that that doesn't have that port for us. This would work just fine if all you wanted to do is play the music at the very beginning and have it start, and it's just going to keep playing. All right, but we want it to stop in this case. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hover over the return value. I'm going to right-click, and I'm going to promote this to a variable. And it's going to create this new variable for us down here. Okay, and this is going to be, I'm going to call this main music. Okay, so main music, and we're going to set that variable. And that variable is going to be set to this being our main music. So now if we were to start to play, I'm going to go ahead and compile it and save it. If we hit play, what's going to happen is the music will start playing. And we can see that here. All right, and the music is also very loud right now because it's at full volume. So I'm going to go back into my blueprint, and right here at the spawn music at location, I'm going to hit the down arrow. And since we're going to have the music be the same level all the way through, I've played around with the music that I'm using. You may need to, depending on the volume available on your music, you may need to make a different multiplier in here. But I'm actually going to put this at a fraction. I'm going to put 0.25, so at a decimal. And I'm going to put it at 25% of its full sound to give it a little bit lower, so it's kind of background music instead of right up there in the front. And I'm going to go ahead and close this. I don't need that open anymore. I'm going to highlight these, and I'm going to hit C to comment it, and this is just going to be called main music start. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is down here where we handle death, and that's where I want the music to stop at, under our character death, right here after we set dead, right in here, but before this branch, because this branch is a condition. This is a Boolean where it's checking to see if we are firing. I'm going to select these. We'll put them to the right just a little bit. Okay. And what I want to do is this main music, I'm going to pull this out from down here, that variable we created. I'm going to get it. I'll pull out from here, and I'm going to type in stop. And we just want the actual function that says stop. Okay. And we're going to connect it up into here. Push this back just a little bit. Include everything in that comment. Compile everything. Save it. And now let's go ahead and test it to make sure everything is working. Music's down a little bit. It's not as loud as it was before. Alright, so now I'm going to let them kill me. Alright, so all of the audio is working and the music stopped playing. So we've got the majority of what we want to get done, taken care of, but let's go ahead and fix a couple of things. The music for my character is not so loud, so let's see if we can kind of select a little diamond right there. And we can do a volume multiplier right here. I am going to bring that up to maybe a 3. We can play around with this number. And then I'm going to save it. And then for our spider, we can do the same thing. Select the little diamond right there, hopefully. There we go. And we can adjust the multiplier so that it's down a little lower. Okay, I'm going to go with something like maybe 0.5. And you can also play around with the pitch multiplier, maybe make it a little less pitchy sounding if you wanted to. But we're going to go ahead and save that the way it is. Hit play again. So now, if I sound for the dead spider isn't so overwhelming. But if I die, since it's the end of the game, sound is a little bit louder now. And for whatever reason, my character disappeared into the ground. All right, so that takes us to the end of this video. Some things you may want to consider. I noticed that my lighting needs to be rebuilt. It keeps popping up. You can come up here and rebuild your lighting at any time. You can adjust your lighting quality that you want to build to. I did go over this earlier, or maybe in a different video, but we can rebuild our lighting here now. All right, so build lighting only. If you wanted to just build the lighting, you can also hit the build button, and it'll build out everything, the textures and everything. So if I were to hit that button, you can see that that's what would happen. It's going to build textures. It's going to build my nav. It'll take care of all of that. So that is going to be that for this video. And if you have any questions, please make sure you put them down in the comments and ask. I always try to get back to anybody who asks questions. And no questions too crazy, just ask it. Also, if you like the video, please like it. And if you want to learn more, see more, and keep track of what I'm doing, go ahead and follow me in my Paul Fritz Animation. And go ahead and subscribe to my channel. Anyway, thanks again, and I will see you all next time.